Okay, we are live now with the public. Okay, and I am, hold on one second. Clearly have a duplicate sound. Hold on one second.
Well, that's a good one.
That's great. Not fishing.
I'm going to just double check the attendees. Thank you for joining us at today's TPO meeting. This is our first public meeting this way, so I appreciate you joining us. I'm just checking the attendees to see if we have additional board members out there to join us. So if you can just hold on one second. I am moving John Bilderback in. He is our CARTA board chair and he'll be voting today. And
Tell Bridger to get off the lake.
and we've got I'm just checking to see who else we have. Bo Watson joining us. I'm promoting him to panelist and he can speak or not. And so Lisa, just to make it easier for us, I'm moving you to an attendee since we've got we have John Bilderback here. Okay, Mr. Chair, we are recording to YouTube. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay.
If participants might want to mute themselves just so we can have better audio quality. And I will start by sharing the agenda and turn it over to you, Mr. Chair, unless you have other questions.
No, let's go ahead and get started.
And I believe we need to start with a roll call.
Okay. Who does that? You guys?
I will. If you give me 1 second, let me make this legible. Okay, I hope that's a little bit clear to folks. And let's see here. Okay. I can do a roll call now. And if there is somebody in the audience that is a, excuse me, that is a board member that is not able to speak, please let us know. But I'll start the roll call now for quorum. Andrea Noel.
I'm here.
Rodney Simpson. Okay. Tom Kayalfa is here. Mr. Chair, I'm going to move him in as a member.
Okay.
And Tom, I hope you're able to speak now. Thank you. We have Tom Kayalfa, Blythe Bailey.
Present.
Todd Lehman.
Here.
John Bilderback.
Present.
Jack McAfee. Thank you. Jack is in the chat box. Bob Colby.
Present.
Ted Rogers.
Here.
Chris Dorsey.
Here.
Dan Maxwell.
Here.
Tim Thornberry.
Here.
Darian Collins.
Here.
Bill Lusk.
Here.
Bert Johnson.
Here.
And Bill Troanich.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We do have a quorum.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. One of the things we need to do is approve the February 26th meeting minutes. Does everybody have a copy of that they can look at? Karen, do people have a copy that they can look at?
There is not, there is a copy on the website.
Okay. So we'll entertain a motion for approval of the February 26 minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tim.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
And Mr. Chair, I'll do a quick roll call.
thank you.
Andrew Noel,
Present.
Tom Kalfa. And this is acting on the minutes, just we do need a roll call. Tom? Yes, thank you. Blythe?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
John Bilderback?
Yes.
Jack McAfee? Yes, thank you, Jack. Bob Colby?
Yes.
Ted Rogers?
Yes.
Chris Dorsey?
Yes.
Dan Maxwell?
Yes.
Tim Thornberry?
Yes.
Darian Collins?
Yes.
Bill Lusk?
Yes.
Bert Johnson?
Yes.
And Bill Trohannis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2, as we approve our resolution amendment to the 2045 Regional Transportation Plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Melissa Taylor. And Karen, if you could do me a favor and remove the sidebar from the agenda.
Yes. Does that help you?
The one that lists the create PDF, edit PDF, export. It doesn't, there you go. Thank you very much. As most of you know, at the TCC meeting last month, we reviewed the 2045 Regional Transportation Plan Amendment. And I wanted to quickly just go through the bullets of that particular amendment. It applies to the City of Chattanooga Shallowford Road project, ID number 13B. This particular project needed to be revised after a particular project description issue was pointed out by Federal Highway. We have to go through a series of informational reviews when we do an amendment to the plan. And so there in the second bullet, you'll see impact to the plan involve the following. And one of those things is review and compliance with the congestion management process. So we have done that. It's included in the packet that you would have reviewed and received via email, and that's posted on our website. There was also a review of the performance-based planning and project evaluation, and we have done that as well. And there were no changes to the particular project's evaluation in the overall system. And you can find those details again in the packet. And then the third was fiscal constraint. We have reviewed all of the financials for the project tiers in which we provide fiscal constraint, and the fiscal constraint has been maintained. So we were able to move funding from a particular project grouping that allows for the types of activities that are being conducted with this change in description to accommodate an increased cost for the project. We have also had review by state, federal, and TPO membership, and we had no substantial comments during that time. And we also had a public involvement comment period that was 14 days, in which we began that on March 10th, 2020. No comments were received, but today marks the official final public hearing for this particular amendment. So at this time, unless the board has questions or would like me to explain in more detail what's happening with this amendment, I'd be happy for the chairman to open it for public comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Taylor. Are there any public comments that we're aware of other than what you described?
Mr. Chair, we didn't receive any notice in advance of individuals who'd like to speak to this item, and we haven't received any notice via the chat function of people who would like to speak to this item either.
Okay, let the record show then we've advertised and have solicited public comments. We did not receive any. Are there any questions from any of the board members? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a roll
Mr.
call, please.
Chair,
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I ask again, I'm sorry, I missed who made the motion in the second. If you could. Blythe made the motion, thank you. And the
Todd.
second,
Todd made the second.
thank you, Todd. And Mr. Chair, I'll do a roll call now.
Thank you.
Andrea,
Yes.
Tom, Alpha. I'll come back to Tom Blythe Bailey, Todd Lehman,
Yes.
John Bilderback,
Yes.
Jack McAfee, Bob Colby, Ted Rogers.
My neighbor, I live over on Chimney Lake Circle. My neighbor said that there was a place over here close to City Hall that accepted old appliances.
Okay, if you're on, you might want to mute your mic.
Okay.
I will pick up again. Ted, I'm sorry, Ted Rogers,
Yes.
Chris Dorsey,
Yes.
Dan Maxwell,
Yes.
Tim Thornberry,
Yes.
Darian Collins,
Yes.
Bill Lusk,
Yes.
Bert Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Trohannis,
Yes.
and then Tom Kalfa, just to make sure.
Yes. Can you hear
Okay.
that?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, next on the agenda. I don't see anything below that. You may want to move the agenda.
Yes, I will move it. If you give me one moment here, I believe there's some sort of user error going on here. Okay, we are down to the non-action items of the agenda.
Yeah, project process updates.
Okay, I'll give the first two and then Melissa will take it from there.
Okay.
As you know, from the past few meetings, the TPO is in the process of developing a new public participation plan to replace the TPO's existing plan. And we are slowly moving through the steps needed to complete that plan, and kind of a little diagram of where we are is in your packet. The draft plan has been reviewed by the TPO state partners and we have successfully addressed their comments. The plan has undergone the first round of review by our federal partners, and we're in the process of addressing their comments and questions. Once we have those addressed, the draft plan will be provided to the TCC and executive board members for their review. The technical coordinating committee is tentatively scheduled to open the plan for public comment at their May meeting. And I will remind board members that there's a 45-day public comment period. And Mr. Chairman, take a moment just to mute members. There is a 45-day public comment period for this. And we will need to gather meaningful input. That is truly the intention of this process, is to get good feedback on the public participation plan. Due to the challenging outreach time we have now, we might take longer than this 45 days just to make sure we do get good input. But as of now, we're currently on track for executive board adoption in August for this plan. And I'll move on to the update, the TPO consultant procurement. The board was updated at their last meeting by a staff report that noted the TPO had issued a request for qualifications for consultants at the start of the year. The TPO is seeking or issued an RFQ seeking firms or individuals that were capable of providing a variety of professional transportation planning services for the TPO. This is something that the TPO does every 4 to 5 years. The RFQ closed at the end of February, and at the March TCC meeting, we reached out to TCC members to see if anyone would be willing to serve on the consultant selection subcommittee. We did have 2 people take us up on that. We want to thank Andrea Noel, TDOT Planning Supervisor for the OCT Region 2, and Eric Asbo, the Deputy Administrator of the Chattanooga Department of Transportation, and they did agree to assist with this process. Those two TPO members are joining Melissa Taylor, you and Lee and myself in participating in consultant review and interviews and recommending selected consultants to the technical coordinating committee. We did complete the first round of reviews. We did have great submittals, and we'll continue to move forward under the guidance of the City of Chattanooga Purchasing Department. They do oversee this process for us and make sure we're in line with appropriate procedures. So any action toward pre-qualifying consultants or placing consultants under contract will ultimately need to be approved by the board. So items will be presented to the TCC with their recommendation onto the board. And we are hoping to have items for action for the board this summer. And I will allow participants to, if they would like to speak. Mr. Chair, I can take questions now or I can wait till the end.
Take them now, please.
Okay, are there any questions? If so, you can raise your virtual hand or I will look to see if I can see a physical hand being waved. Okay, I don't see anything, Mr. Chair. I'll turn it over to Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So there are two items that were presented to the TCC in March by my staff. They were formal presentations, and to make things slightly easier on all of you for this virtual meeting, we included them in your packet. So you've had them as part of the posted packet on the web and what was emailed to you prior to today. And those two items are our bicycle and pedestrian count program. Jonathan Gibbons is the lead on that project for our department. And we have been in need of baseline data for bicycle and pedestrian count data for a number of years. And we are finally have gotten around to creating a plan for that for the entire TPO area, with a focus mainly on areas where we expect to see the largest number of bicyclists and pedestrians. So there's a detailed plan for that and maps included in the actual plan, which you've been given a link to. And I'd be happy to take any questions about that once I get through this other item, and we'll take all questions at one time. The second of the items that I'll be discussing is the public education campaign. We are doing this campaign in preparation for our 2050 regional transportation plan, which will kick off in the late fall of 2021. However, one of the things we heard from a lot of public participants in our 2045 plan was feeling that they were not well versed or prepared to provide comments on the regional transportation plan. It's a lot bigger picture in nature, and there's not a whole lot of specifics that are talked about for projects being worked on in their areas, and it's more of this big picture planning. So they felt unprepared to talk about more of those planning process for a 20-year horizon. So in thinking about that, we decided that it might be a good idea to offer a more educational effort in advance of actually receiving public input. So that's what Caroline Daigle on my team is doing. She's taking the lead on this and creating a series of materials that will help us provide a educational kind of outreach for this particular part of the process, and getting people a little bit more well-versed in what we will be asking them to provide input on over time, or when we kick that off in the year 2021. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the public or the membership has.
Thanks,
I do
Melissa.
not, sure, Mr. Chairman, I do not see any comments in the chat box, and I'm not seeing any hands being raised, though I'm quickly searching through all of the attendees right now, and I do not see any. Thank you very much.
All right, very good. Section 4, staff reports. It looks like we're not going to discuss that on our virtual meeting, but we have those for informational purposes. Section 5, any public comments or any other items of importance that anyone wants to bring up?
Mr. Chair, Andrew Noel is interested in providing some information.
Sure.
Thank you. This is Andrea Noel. I'm with TDOT. I just wanted to give you a couple TDOT updates, as you can see, hopefully, I'm wearing my orange today to support National Work Zone Awareness Week, which is this week, April 20th to the 24th. It's an effort to improve safety in Tennessee's interstate and highway construction and maintenance work zones. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is joining states across the nation to ask motorists to work with us, move over and slow down for highway workers. Amidst this coronavirus crisis, TDOT crews are still on our roads working. The decrease in traffic has enabled TDOT to do more work in daytime hours, which is safer for our crews. So thank you for staying off the roads as much as you can and working from home. Speaking of working, the bridge replacement project on Interstate 24 began this week. They started the Belvoir Avenue Bridge on Monday, April 20th. Belvoir Avenue will be closed to traffic between the intersections of North Terrace and South Terrace, which will be used as detour routes during the closure. The replacement of Belvoir Avenue Bridge is tentatively slated for completion by winter of 2020. There's a project website that you can visit for up-to-date information and lane closures, and I'll try to copy that into the chat box if that's okay. Another update, I just heard from our multimodal division this morning. They've been given the green light to announce the 2020 Multimodal Access Grant Awards. So recipients may start getting confirmation as early as tomorrow, which is April 23rd. So I know there were 3 applicants submitted within the MPO, but I don't know who the recipients are. So I'm very excited, just as you are, to hear about that in the next few days. And finally, we'd like to thank the staff of the MPO for finding innovative ways to hold these meetings and to keep everything moving forward. The work that you guys do is really important. We thank you. And since this is Earth Day, I can say that you mean the world to us. But I'm going to confess because I stole that line from Cleveland Mayor Brooks, who said it this morning. So thank you, Mayor Brooks. But anyway, seriously, guys, thank you. We really appreciate all your work.
Very nice. Thank you, TDOT. Anything else for TDOT?
That's it from TDOT today.
How about our colleagues from North Georgia or GDOT? Have any representation or comments from there, please? Okay, I think I saw Senator Watson get on the call or the meeting. Senator, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do not. Thank you for allowing me to view in. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for getting on. Do we have any other of our elected officials, city, county, or state, that are on the call that would like to speak? Okay, excellent. So our next executive board meeting is scheduled for June 24. Is that still up in the air, Karen, about whether it will be a Zoom meeting or a face-to-face meeting? We haven't made that decision yet, correct?
Right. I believe at this point, we are thinking that we might be able to meet in person.
Excellent. That'll be good. Okay, and the next TPO Technical Coordinating Committee meeting is May 12th, for those of you that need to communicate that information. So do we have any other comments or information to give out for the good of the order?
No, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.